I'm Amber Williams, Assistant VP of our Annuity Marketing Services team here at IMES. My team handles all annuity business, whether it's annuity application review, case management, or post-issue processing. My team handles all annuity business. During today's presentation, I'm going to be talking about some of our processes and our best practices, but my main focus is going to be on our Firelight platform, which can be accessed right from our imesinc.com website. As many of you know who have written business with us and have written your annuity business with us and worked with us in the past, you know and understand that we are dedicated to handling your business and working with carriers to ensure that your business is processed quickly. We'll expedite and escalate any issues that may arise. We want to make sure that your business is issued without any delay. And today I'd like to share some tips for submitting in good order annuity applications. The required training is one thing that we see come up quite frequently. Please verify that you are compliant to write the business before you solicit that sale, whether it's non-resident training, state training, product-specific training. It's important that all of that is compliant before you date and sign an application. If you're writing business in a state that's recently adopted the NAIC model regulation, those states are Arizona, Arkansas, and Iowa. There is an additional training that will need to be done. If you're not sure if you've done the training, please contact our office. We're happy to confirm that for you with the carrier. Please ensure you also have updated paperwork. As you know, carriers are notorious for making changes to their forms, whether it's suitability forms, transfer forms, disclosure forms. They're constantly making those changes. They will require updated paperwork, which means another trip to the client for a signature if you don't have the correct forms to start with. We're happy to email you or put in the mail to you the application kits, whatever you may need. I wouldn't recommend stockpiling applications. We don't do that here at IMES. We pull everything right from the carrier website when we're getting started with a new application. The other option I wanted to talk about today, or the other tip rather, is the suitability guidelines. Each carrier has their own suitability guidelines, and it's important to understand what those are before writing a piece of business. Whether it's remaining liquid assets, it may be that the carrier wants to see a certain percentage of net worth and they don't want a certain amount of annuities of the client's net worth in that annuity contract. So call our sales team, let them help you with case design. They can also talk through the suitability guidelines with you at that time. That'll save time for you in the long run for sure. And the last thing that we notice is our funding of contracts. Many of our applications are funded by transfers, and it's important to understand what the transferring company is going to require before they send the money over to the new application. Whether they'll want an original signature, maybe they have their own conservation paperwork, they may accept a fax, but it's important for us to identify that before you submit that application to the carrier. It's now easier than ever to submit your annuity business to IMES. We have 5 different ways to submit annuity applications. The first, of course, is our dedicated email inbox for annuity applications. This is a streamlined process that allows my team to receive those applications, and it will ensure that your paperwork is reviewed without any delays. The second option is the secure application upload, which is an upload feature right on our website. My team can retrieve that paperwork and from our website and review that for you. The third option is our Firelight e-application, which we'll discuss. We're going to go step by step through an application, and we'll do that here shortly. Of course, you can fax the paperwork to our office, and the fax number is listed there. And then, of course, the last option is our street address. If you'd like to send the original applications to our office, that's our street address here in Elkhorn, Nebraska. Today, we're going to focus on submitting business using our IMES Firelight platform, which is available right from our website, which I mentioned. If you're currently writing or utilizing an e-application system, that's great. One advantage to doing it through the IMES platform is you don't have to go to the various carriers websites to do the applications. You can go to our one-stop shop website, and our core carriers are listed and participating in our Firelight instance. There are definitely some distinct advantages of utilizing e-applications, and as we continue to navigate the challenges of COVID-19, e-applications will continue to play an important role in our business. Last year, we saw a significant need for e-applications so that we could continue to do business without interruption, and I think this year will be the same. Getting to those advantages, obviously, when you are accessing the Firelight instance, you will be pulling the correct carrier paperwork. As carriers update their forms, they deploy those change forms to the Firelight instance, and Firelight bundles those applications for you, so you'll always have the correct paperwork. Submitting your business in good order the first time around, the Firelight system is really like a personal assistant that alerts you to anything that you may have missed along the way, any of those required fields that are needed before submitting to the carrier. It will not allow you to move forward to the signature section until you've completed all of the required fields, which is great. And obviously, when you're submitting business in good order, it reduces the processing time at the carrier. It allows the carrier to sail through the processing times with the initial review, with suitability, with getting the transfer paperwork sent to the carrier. All of those steps at the carrier are done quicker, and which means you'll get a policy sooner, you'll get to deliver that contract to your client sooner, and you'll obviously be paid quicker as well. The last option I wanted to discuss is the application copy feature. This is a very valuable tool within Firelight. You'll use it to complete multiple applications for the same client without having to retype all of the information. You can also use this copy feature if, for instance, you haven't taken your product training and you complete the application and submit it to the carrier, and now the carrier is requiring all newly signed and dated applications. You can simply copy the application and send it back to the client to obtain their signatures. This is a list of our participating carriers that you can see here. Our core carriers are listed here, and you can take a look at this for your reference. I'd like to walk through some screenshots for those of you who are not familiar with Firelight, so you have an idea of what to expect when you get started. And the first step really is to get registered on our website. So when you're logged into our website, you can click on this e-application solutions button at the top here. You'll see there's a golden arrow pointing to that tab, and you'll complete the registration process. Once we will receive this registration inquiry at our office, and our internal team has to give you approval to our Firelight instance, which we can get that turned around very quickly. Once you're ready to get started with your first application, you'll click again on that eApp Solutions tab at the top, and then scroll down and click on that Firelight icon. This will take you to the Firelight dashboard. And you'll see here there's a recent activity section, and this will pull any recent activity that's been done within the last 90 days, whether it's an application that's in the data entry process, or maybe it's been submitted to the carrier already. If it's been done in the last 90 days, it'll show up here in the recent activity dashboard. This is also where you'll start your first e-application here. You'll click on Start New. And here you'll create the application. So we'll indicate which state the application will be written in, the product type, and then the carrier. And from there, Firelight will build the products that meet the criteria that you've indicated above. And you'll see here that Firelight is bundling the required forms. Firelight system, it's an intuitive system. So if you start to fill out the application with the trust as the owner, it will bring in the trust verification form, which is required by so many carriers. So that's an option. Also, let's say the Firelight system detects that the application is being signed in a state other than the client resides. It'll also pull in the non-resident form for your use as well. So as you're filling out the paperwork, it may continue to add additional required forms throughout the process. So here's the very first page of the Athene application, and you'll notice it looks just like a paper application. There are highlighted fields at the top in red, and as you continue to complete that information or those fields, you'll tab down and it will then highlight the owner section fields here. I'll show you here on the next slide. And you can toggle back and forth between these arrows on the left and the right to look at various pages of the application. Any field in red is required to be completed. And once you believe that you're completed with completing the paperwork or all of the fields, you can click on this open button up here at the top left of the screen, and it will show you which forms in particular still have missing information. So in this example, the suitability confirmation is still missing some fields that are required. You can simply click on the suitability confirmation worksheet and it'll take you right to that worksheet where you can find the fields that are still highlighted in red that need to be completed. Once you are 100% complete for data entry, you'll see here at the top, it shows data entry is at 100%. All of the required forms are listed in black. There are no red highlights there. You can click on this continue button and that will advance you to the signature section. And once you get to the electronic signature, you really have two options. You can use the e-signature or decline the e-signature. If you decline the e-signature, then you have the option to print the application kit and obtain a wet signature, at which time you can then upload the signed paperwork to Firelight or submit it to our office and we can upload it on your behalf. In this particular example, we're going to use the e-signature option. And it'll show the list of required signers, obviously the owner and then the agent as well. We also have the option to sign now or send an email request. So we're going to sign it now. If we would use this option if you're currently with the client. If you're in their home, if they're in your office, you would indicate that you want to sign the paperwork right now, which we'll select for this example. The client will input their personal information and click on verified in order to advance to review the application. This will allow the client to review each of the application forms and then check the box indicating that they've reviewed and agreed to the terms to move forward to the actual signature section. So they will review the application, the suitability confirmation worksheet, the disclosure and the replacement form, check this box, and then they can move forward to the signature section. And this is the signing ceremony where we capture the electronic signature. So the client will type their name, indicate the city in which they're signing the paperwork, and then they can use this field here. They can either sign with a mouse pad or they can simply type their name here and click I consent. The agent goes through the same steps to complete the signature, typing the information and clicking I consent. And that's it. It's really that easy. It's such an easy process to complete those signatures. And then, of course, you'll receive a prompt confirming that you want to submit this application at this time. We're going to go through another example, which is the send email request. This would be appropriate if the client is not with you, or maybe they want to have an opportunity to review the paperwork in greater detail. So if we click on this send email request, we'll have an option to enter the client's name and email address along with your writing information as well. You'll see here that this is a copy of the email that the client will be receiving. You can edit this email if you would like to, and you'll click on this send email request once that information has been entered. This is an example of the email that the client will receive. You'll notice that down here on the bottom, I've highlighted, this is the link that the client will need to click on in order to get to the signature page. And then this is what comes up when they're signing electronically through an email link. They have the option to enter the last four digits of their social security number and birth date, or they can enter a unique password that's sent to them in a separate email from the link for the signature. Either way, we'll get them to the opportunity to, again, review each of these application pages, the required pages for the application, where they'll check that they've reviewed and agree with the terms, and then they can move forward to the signing ceremony. Again, the agent will complete their signature as well. You'll have the option to submit the application. Keep in mind that no further edits are allowed as soon as those signatures have been placed on the application. So once you submit the application and you continue to submission, that e-application is received at our IMS review queue. And then our annuity team starts reviewing the application. They'll verify that the agent is compliant to write the business. They'll complete a high-level review of the application and the documents. Keep in mind, we can't make any changes to this paperwork now that it's been submitted. We can alert you, though, of anything that may cause red flags at the carrier, or maybe if some of the data was entered incorrectly, we can definitely alert you. And at that time, it would be appropriate to make a copy of that application, make the changes, and then have the client re-sign if needed. After assuming everything is in good order, we will approve the file, and then the file is transmitted from Firelight to the carrier using the encrypted coding. The client will receive an email from you on behalf of the agent, thanking them for the business, thanking them for the application, and giving them an opportunity to download a copy of the application. You, as the writing agent, will receive an email to notify you that the application was submitted. And then you can expect to receive an update from your IMS annuity case manager within 48 hours. The case manager will begin their follow-up with the carrier to ensure that the carrier is processing without any delays. We'll have a policy number for you. We may have a suitability review depending on the carrier and approval depending on the carrier. But we will continue to follow up on this business every 2 to 3 business days to ensure everything's moving through without any delays. Now, if you'd still like to put pen to paper, you definitely have a few ways to submit your applications to IMS, which I mentioned earlier. We appreciate your business and we appreciate your partnership, and however you submit your annuity applications, we remain committed to processing those timely and accurately. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions, certainly feel free to reach out to me via email, or you can reach me at the office as well. Thanks again. Have a great day.